In this episode, I'm interviewing Tom Schrishuhn. He's the East Division Director of Operations, covering Regions 5, 6, and 7. We'll learn about recent acquisitions and Tom's strategy for inorganic growth. Good afternoon, Tom. How are you?
I'm good, Dana.
Good.
And you?
Good to see you. Yeah, I'm doing well. So Tom Schrishuhn, we're welcoming you to the It Pays to Keep Clean podcast. And first thing I have to say is something about your last name, because I always feel like I've got too much food in my mouth or something when I'm saying it. But can you pronounce it correctly for us?
Yeah, it's a long I and a long U. So it's Schrishuhn.
Schrishuhn.
Yeah.
It's the extra H's, I think, that confuse me sometimes.
If you're ever stuck, just put an H in. You'll probably be right.
Exactly.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Well, hopefully I can continue to get better about that. So anyway, we wanted to meet with you today. We missed you in July at the sales meeting, I think. So happy to have the opportunity to sit down and talk to you. You are now the East Division Director for Alsco Uniforms, meaning that you've got regions 5, 6, and 7 under your belt. And just talk to us a little bit about, that's a role you've been in for about 15 months or so.
Right.
Prior to that, you've had, history with Alsco, but also history outside of Alsco, but still within the industry, right? So walk us through that a little bit.
Sure, yeah. So I guess I'll go backwards maybe here. So this current role, prior to that, was in a pivot role, more of a project role, I guess, where, we were working towards getting garments shipped and getting processes in place to be able to sign new uniform customers. Right. And was in that role for probably 2.5 years or so, close to 3 years. Prior to that was the regional manager for the Canadian branches. At that time, it was Region 9.
That's been, yeah.
Yeah, and it was a little short-lived, I guess, because at that time, COVID was upon us and, couldn't do a lot of travel. And so it was a little short. But nonetheless, it was a great assignment. So good experience, great folks in Canada. So, and then prior to that, I was the general manager of the Milwaukee Industrial branch for about 6 years. So altogether now, I've been with Alsco about 12 years.
Okay.
And started in the industry in 1996 with a competitor, and was a production manager and ran service team and was a GM there in multiple branches during
so you're
about
coming up on 30 years.
Yeah,
then,
during about a 10-year period with them too. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Great. Yeah. Well, we're lucky to take advantage of all of that experience, and obviously you've seen a lot of shifts and changes over time too. Yeah. So in your new role, like I said, that's been about 15 months or so. What kind of opportunities and challenges have you seen? How has the role or even changed over that short period of time? Because I imagine that it took a minute maybe even to settle into it.
Yeah, for sure. I think the company's change in a different direction is probably the most driving factor in all of it. I mean, we'd gone for decades, as long as I'd been with the company, until just recently, where it was a very profit-oriented company, and growth wasn't so important to us, and we did very well at that. And so the time's come for us to kind of flip the script a little bit and pursue growth to a much greater degree. And,
change our focus.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So kind of, have to get your head around that and figure out how you're going to organize yourself and really, really go after that. And I guess the other thing would be that, especially for me, I think anytime I take a new role, my initial tendency might be to do more of the things that I was doing as a regional manager or as a GM until you figure things out, and then you can step back a little bit. But I mean, at some point you kind of have to back up,
right?
And you've got to put great folks in place. You've got to trust and respect them.
Yeah.
And not only that, there's an element of accountability there that has to be in place, and it's not just a one-way thing. I mean, I think all of us have to allow ourselves to be held accountable by other people. It's not just my boss, Jim Kearns, who gets to hold me accountable. It's a group accountability that has to be there.
Well, and I think asking people too, again, you have an idea, I'm sure, about how their business or branch could be run, should be run, all those things. But to get the best results and know that the minute you turn your back, things are still going to keep going.
Absolutely.
You have to be in conversation with them about, what support do you need? What tools do you need? And help to respond to that or allay their fears somehow. You can't just do X, Y, Z and then hop back on a plane and leave,
Yeah,
That'd be
that's right.
easy.
That's right. And and for the first year, it was a lot about visiting all the branches that I hadn't seen before and getting acquainted with people in the GM spots and the service leader spots and all those things.
Right.
And so all very important things to do. And I was able to get to all the branches in the first year or so.
Yeah.
And, so yeah,
That's a big undertaking.
it's a good start though. Good start.
Yeah. Well, that's good. Well, and as you know, it's really, there was an organizational change, which is something that you can kind of do quickly, if you will. But the real cultural change that's the underpinning of that is going to result in long-term growth, that certainly takes a much longer period of time and a more sophisticated set of tools than just, being autocratic about anything. Or thinking you're going to print a report and be like, hello, sir, just do this and I'll see you next quarter. Yeah. When we talk about growth, of course, we need and want, and I know we're working toward organic growth, but there's also the inorganic kind, which in the East Division has kind of had an opportunity to take advantage of that this year. So we had the Churchill's acquisition in September. Talk a little bit about that one and then follow that up with what we were hoping to achieve with the Macintosh one.
Yeah, sure. So, for us, acquisitions in the East were very important because there's a fantastic market that we always wanted to have a presence in, and just that never gotten there. Maybe, I don't know, priorities, or maybe the best opportunity had never come to us by that point. But we were presented with a really great opportunity. Churchill, which had branches in the Hyannis, which essentially is Cape Cod,
right?
Brockton, Massachusetts, and then Stratford, Connecticut. And all of those, of course, are just north of New York City and along the Atlantic coast there. But fantastic, huge markets with so much opportunity. And the truth is, we, through corporate account subcontracts, have some presence there already, but through competitors.
Right. So we had some familiarity with it, but not a direct Alsco presence.
We weren't there brick and mortar wise. We didn't service customers ourselves. But that Churchill acquisition put us in a fantastic market. And so, there was, that really butted up our northernmost branch, which was Wilmington, Delaware, to that northeast New England area.
Right. Yeah, because we've got Rochester, but he's kind of hanging over here.
Yeah, that's quite a ways away when you look at a map.
This just keeps going up the corridor, which is really awesome. Yeah. And it's such a dense, mature market too, right into that Boston metro area. And it's pretty exciting. Yeah,
it is. It really is. And so that happened last fall. And so we're still sort of assimilating those branches into the Alsco world. And it's going well. And then another opportunity presented, which allowed us to kind of close off a spot where we, again, did not have a service presence. And that was in Allentown, or Bethlehem, actually, Pennsylvania. It's about an hour and a half east and north of North Jersey and Philadelphia. Great, again, another great market, and this opportunity was a really fantastic culture. This acquisition is a lot like Alsco in terms of the fact that they have been a family-owned business for 100 years. Maybe under different ownership, but nonetheless.
But always family to a new
always
family. Kind of
family,
thing,
always family. So great culture there. I think the assimilation's gone really well. I mean, again, it's been a week, let's say, but that went, that went fantastically, though. I'm really happy that they're part of the Alsco family here.
Opening up a new market, new to us anyway, new to Alsco, seems distinctly different than, let's say, doing an acquisition already in an area. Let's say if we did an acquisition in Texas where we already have so many plants. Well, we already operate in Texas, so maybe not. We already have a name and a presence and a brand, and so maybe the effort is a little bit different. We can start to focus on certain things. Here, where we are kind of unknown, What do you think the special challenges there are, and what can we do to balance that and kind of get in front of things?
Yeah, well, I think first of all, the branding that's visible to the client base is super important. So we have all these sexy green trucks now.
Yes.
In eastern Pennsylvania, in Connecticut and Massachusetts, et cetera. So that's a big deal. Just letting folks know that we're there. And then, of course, I think the assimilation is critically important too, because how do you convince a new client base that you're something special,
right,
if the employees that you now have are not excited to be where they are?
Right, or still kind of over-identifying maybe with past culture, past practices,
Yeah, so, bringing them into the fold and helping them understand Alsco. I mean, sure, they all ran a great business for a long time, many decades in most cases, right? But giving them a good, warm welcome and helping them understand how to work within Alsco is really important for us, because we want them in front of prospects and customers representing who we are. Right. And just an excitement about being with Alsco.
Right.
Yeah.
And taking all the best that they had to offer as businesses that had been flourishing for a long time and kind of infusing a little bit more green, a little bit more Alsco over time. So, it's a long-term proposition, though,
It sure
for sure.
is.
Yeah.
Sure is.
Great. So that's kind of the inorganic side, which we have a lot of exciting things going on. Looking forward to see how that moves forward. What is your strategy and your region's strategies for organic growth?
Yeah. Well, I guess it's really not all that complicated, right? I mean, to maybe oversimplify it, I mean, we're talking about selling more, losing less.
Yeah.
Right. And of course, you've got to do some modest price increases, ones that are tolerable to the customers. I mean, we've got to cover the increase in our expenses too.
Yeah.
But I mean, all of that really boils down to, on the sales side, the new business generation, how well we're able to solve problems for customers.
Right.
And if we can do that effectively, then I think we win a lot of business. And maybe, and we hope that price becomes secondary in that whole conversation. Right. We love it when that happens, but we still have to be price competitive.
Yeah.
And we're going up against the big dogs there, right? I mean, all the big players in the business are there. So, I mean, in every market that we have.
That's right.
Certainly
everybody's fighting for the same business on smaller margins than probably we've seen in I don't know how long. And so, it's pretty dog eat dog out there.
Yeah. And of course, then losing less is really about trying to wow customers and satisfy customers every day in every single interaction you have with them.
Yeah. Well, what I love too is our product line is pretty diverse. I mean, it's very clear about what we do and who we are, but we do have a lot of product offerings as well, which means the opportunity to solve a lot of different problems for customers or diversify through different industries. And as our sales consultants get used to promoting that, and our customers even get used to asking, oh, hey, do you think you could, that's all about relationship too.
And I think too that on the existing customer side, the sweet spot really is when you have the relationship developed to the extent, and that their business well enough that you can come in and solve a problem they didn't present to you.
Right. That's right.
So now it's a real partnership. You're trying to help them, and of course they're helping us too.
Right. Yeah. Cool. Well, you heard it here first. It's not really all that hard. Yeah. No, I know the devil is in the details.
There's a lot more to it, of course.
Of course there is. But the fundamentals are kind of just that. They're pretty straightforward. Yeah. Doing it day in, day out consistently at high quality, that's kind of where the rub is perhaps.
Right.
But
and we've got, and look, and when I oversimplify it the way I do, I am not taking anything away, I hope.
Oh gosh, no,
from
of course not.
The great sales consultants and the great district managers and RSRs and service managers that we have, and they're out there fighting every day.
Absolutely.
They're going to battle every day on all our behalf here.
No, those are all really tough jobs. So, yeah. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
My pleasure.
And we'll meet again, I'm sure.
I'm sure.
Okay, thanks, Tom.
Thank you.
That's all for today's episode of the It Pays to Keep Clean podcast. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the world of Alsco Uniforms, where we explore the growth and challenges in our industry. Tune in next time for more industry insights, growth strategies, and tales from the field. If you've enjoyed our time together, please leave us a rating and review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. If you want to learn more about our services, visit us at alsco.com. From all of us here at the It Pays to Keep Clean podcast at Alsco Uniforms, thank you for listening. Stay safe, stay clean, and we'll see you in the next episode.